Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest is Issa
Musharbash.
I'm not even going to attempt the surname. I don't want to do a dishonor there, but we're going to be talking about some wonderful subjects. You know, when I first read his book, it was like I kind of did that automatic thing that people do of perception of what you thought it said. And it says, go back to your country. And that's the first thing that hits your mind, because how much rhetoric have we heard about this for so long? But there's another part to it. Go back to your country or stay and defy the odds. That's the part I like about it. That is really the question we have as an immigrant when we go to a new country. I am an immigrant as well, and it is about defying the odds. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. You've disrupted your life. You're going somewhere new. It's all very foreign to you. Sometimes it's a foreign language as well. And it is that navigating that new life. And it is not easy. He's written this fabulous book, Go Back to Your Own Country. It services conversations of immigration, leadership, entrepreneurship, transformational story of an immigrant boy from Jordan who settled in the United States. The story of finding family, love, faith resultant in his own adversity, and it serves as an American immigrant story of the 21st century. He's, he accumulated his first property at 24, a multi-million-dollar company at 26, president of the university that he dropped out from, and wrote the book, Go Back to Your Country. Just the list goes on of his accomplishments. So what we are dealing with here today is somebody who really has chosen to live positively, chosen to look at the glass not only half full, maybe half full of water, but half full of something else as well, and decided that seize the day. Here are the possibilities. What can I do with them? Welcome to the show, Issa.
Thank you so much for the warm and beautiful introduction and for having me today with you on the show. Such an honor to be with you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I am an immigrant myself twice over, but obviously English-speaking countries, a thread of similar cultures. The British thread was always through it. But it was still an adjustment for me. You know, I was a teenager when I went to the first one, and as the second one, I just came kind of blind, landed and weaved my way in. They never did anything kind of the proper way. And I know that it can be difficult, you know, to immerse yourself into new cultures and new ways. What made you first step away from Jordan and go to the States, especially knowing the States' attitude towards immigrants?
It wasn't my choice. This was done at an early age. My mother realized early on that bringing her children to the United States for them to get an education here and take advantage of opportunities here would by far place them in a better position than staying where they were in Amman, Jordan. And so she went through hell and back, Sarah, to
Yeah, I can
bring
imagine.
her kids to the US. And she's so happy because now she's grandma and she gets to see her grandchildren
Yes,
born in the country of her dreams.
yes.
And she sits back knowing that the sacrifices,
Mhm.
all of the struggles were well worth it.
Mhm. On the grandma front, I am literally a day away, hoping to be a grandma.
Oh,
Due date is tomorrow, and we're all on tenterhooks. I think I'm more stressed and nervous than she is. So my first grandson. So yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to that title very much. Um, as parents, we always want what is better for our kids, and life in general is. It's a navigation. It's a struggle. It's a sense of self-discovery. It's a discovering of who you are, what gift are you bringing to the table, what service you're going to have. And very often there are obstacles that are in the way, but they're not there to bury you. They're there to raise you up by showing you how you can go through the process and who you're meant to be at the other end of it. So, for your mother, the journey was bringing you kids to give you a better life, which in turn is a better life for her because all her children are happy,
Yes. Yeah.
right? But for you, the opportunities, you've really seized the day and decided that to seize the opportunities, you have to be a possibility seer.
Yes. Yes. Perspective is everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I came here, I had every reason to see the total opposite. I got
Mm,
here at the age of 12. I did not really know the language. It was my second time coming here because I got here when I was just about 3 years old. I graduated kindergarten in the United States, learned my ABCs, to then find out, oh, we're no longer staying in this country. We're going back to Jordan. Have to unlearn the English, try to
mm.
embrace Arabic. By the time I hit 12, you got to let all that go now.
Yeah.
You're permanently going to, and so trying to quickly at that age of 12, when you're in eighth grade,
Going
go to
through the
high
teenage
school,
hormones as it is,
there's
right?
the hormones,
Yes.
there's the bullying because,
Yes.
I have a nice Middle Eastern nose usually double the size of my peers. So that caused a ton of bullying. And
Mm,
um, I had every reason to look at this country and say, man, maybe it's not the dream country.
mm,
Maybe it's not what my mom thought it was going to be or made it out to be. Things could have been better for me, more comfortable for me in Jordan. Nobody would make fun of my nose over there. No
right.
one would even see that as a problem. They thought I
Right.
was handsome. Here I'm ugly. What's going on? And you go through that, and then you don't have the right sneakers because now,
Yes.
like, if you don't have Nikes for $180, you have nothing. Like, you're a no
Mm,
one. And you go through the fashion show of high school because that's what it is, like a
yes.
fashion place. And if you are not wearing the best and don't know how to obtain the proper clothing, you are the laughing stock in that
Mm,
school. So through my upbringing, I had every reason to quit. I had every reason to become part of the stats of immigrants that don't make it, that end up relying solely on what the government can do for me, and there's nothing I'm going to
mm,
do for myself.
right.
But I chose differently. I took on a job at the age of 12 while going to school full time. Sarah, I I share this experience in the first chapter of my book, how this 12-year-old boy who has a job already full time for $3 an hour, by the way, below the minimum wage,
Right, exactly.
nonetheless grateful that he's
Exploitation.
in the country,
Yeah.
wants to help out mom for doing what she did to bring
Mm,
him and his siblings here. The kid gets jumped while he was making a delivery. So a bunch of kids, beat him up. He's thinking, "Oh my God, they want the money. They want the $40 from the delivery. They're trying to beat me up to take my money." Because that's what people do that for.
right,
Like, they mug you,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
But then he had this boss that expected that he's going to deliver and always, come back with the money and be a well-behaved kid. And he was worried about, upsetting his boss. He protected the money and try to protect his face as much as he can from the fight. But when the kids almost killed him and knocked him unconscious, the main bigger kid was wearing a Jason mask from the movie Friday the 13th.
All right.
He kneels down and he says, "Go back to your country," and leaves. And that kid had every excuse to just stay right there. Maybe go back to his country.
Yeah.
Maybe look forward to the age of 18 when he's no longer dependent on his mother, to just go back to his country and try to get a more comfortable life there. But instead, he stays. He defies the odd one after another. And it really, this happens at the age of 16 because things get worse before they get better. And at
Mm,
the age of 16, he has this final phase, final trial before his pivotal moment. which was a self-discovery moment at the age of 17 and a half that then turned this kid's life upside down, and he started to just pursue every good thing in this country. And I kind of summarizing to give you an idea of you have a choice.
Yes.
Perspective is a choice.
Yes.
And even the people that go through the most pain somehow come out stronger, more beautiful, because
Yes.
they chose to see the pain as their power. They chose to
Mm.
see the obstacles as their stepping stones to
Yes.
greater things, as you stated earlier in the show.
Right. I think the best teachers are those that have gone through it, the word through it, because they were willing to face the pain, face the struggles. In that discovery, they discovered their courage, their strength, their abilities, their beautiful instrument, what they were here to do. And I've interviewed some people who have heart-wrenching stories of what they've gone through in life. And you wouldn't blame them for cashing out, because humans, especially, have been so utterly cruel to them. And yet they decided to go through that pain and that struggle and stand up to be a beacon of light of others who are going through it. And that to me is the ultimate success and enrichment and abundance of life. I don't care how much money, fame, or anything else you've got, to stand there, having gone through all the struggle that you've gone through, and stand there as a beacon of light to help others going through that struggle. Is there any greater gift?
No, there's not. And I actually talk about that in my introduction, why I wrote this book and how I define success. The
Mhm.
world defines success through money and status,
Mhm.
and you're the CEO and you build a company and success is an issue of living a meaningful life.
Yes.
Today, I'm here with you living a meaningful life. Everything I've gone through, my mother has gone through,
Mm.
today has so much meaning and
Mm.
value. It blesses other people and it inspires other people. Like you stated, being that beacon of light.
Yes. It,
That's true success.
it is, and we, you have to step into some sort of faith for that. And it doesn't have to be a religion.
Yeah.
The universe, we are all made out of particles of the universe. Science has proven that. We're all made out of that beautiful cosmic energy, right? And the faith that whether you choose, that I had a pastor who used to be on have his own show here, and he called it Gus, God, universe, spirit. It's all the same thing. It's just how we choose, or whom we choose to give it up to and to absorb the energy from. The whole point is, it is to look at that there is always something more powerful than you. And
Yes.
it's not there to lord over you. It's there to empower you to do what you're meant to do.
I agree. I agree. And that was the pivotal point after 18 months of darkness that I
Hmm.
experienced. My mother, after everything she has been through, at the age of 16, when I turned 16, I chose to go on the wrong direction. I
Hmm.
chose to join a group, a gang of kids that gave me something I was searching for called acceptance.
Yes.
They didn't say go back to your country. They said welcome to this gang. They didn't say you have a big nose. They said you have big courage, and we
Yeah.
could use that courage, to defend each other.
Hmm.
And but that was just we were doing the wrong
Yeah.
things, and I never thought about notifying my mother when I would get home. I would just get home when I felt like it.
Yeah.
But at 9 p.m., she's waiting by the door.
Yes.
10 p.m., she's on her knees praying, Lord, please bring this boy home. I don't know what he's doing. And
Right.
she did that for 18 months because she had no clue what was going on in my life.
Been there,
I would get
done
home
that.
late.
I have
Yeah.
three.
I would get
Maybe
home
these
so
gray
late.
hairs are here for a reason.
God bless you, because my mother did 18 months with me. And but God, the
Hmm.
universe,
Hmm.
right? Science, whatever you want to
Yes.
call it,
Doesn't
and
matter what
her
you want to label it.
experience,
Yeah.
yeah, in her experience, it was her faith in God
Yes.
that somehow supernaturally turn a light on for me, a switch on for me 18 months later. If she had stopped in
Yeah.
the middle of that 18 months, encouraging me, trying to show me a different perspective, maybe I would have stayed there, and the trajectory of my life would have been just like anyone else in that space.
Yeah.
But she didn't stop. She kept believing one day my son
Mm.
is going to awake. One day my son is going to realize who he is and who God made him to be. And that happened 18 months later. I was 17 and a half. My last year in high school, I was known as the bully, the bad kid. I've been
Mm.
suspended numerous times for beating up kids that were picking on my younger brother, and
Mm-hmm.
wore that with pride. And my grades were terrible, and I wore that with pride. Like, I didn't want to listen to teachers.
Right.
I wanted to
Rebellious
be
all the way.
so rebellious. It was a sense of empowerment for me.
Yeah.
And then the light switched on, and uh, it was also through my mother's faith,
Yeah.
you know, and that I gave my own faith an opportunity to see if it would accept me, and I realized that religion has failed me. My whole life, religion has failed me. Institutions have failed me. But when I got rid of that, and did a direct connection,
Thank you.
right? A
Hmm.
direct relationship with God.
Yes.
That's what changed
Yeah.
a gangster kid's heart,
Yes.
and made me realize maybe I could be a father one day,
Yeah.
and a good one. Maybe
Right.
I can be a good citizen and a husband, and have a family of my own one day, and make it different
Mm.
than I saw it. And never turned back from the age of 17. Today, I'm 35 years old, going on 36 years old, and a good nearly 20 years, 19 years have passed since that decision, but I've never turned back. And
Right.
because I never turned back, it's like, in economics, we talk about the beauty of compounded interest.
Yes.
There's this thing called compounded grace, you know.
Yes.
So you it just gets better with years. Just
Yes.
don't turn back. Keep moving
Mm.
forward, and it gets better with years. Meaning more doors will open,
Yeah.
better things come your way, and you're constantly surprised with beautiful things as more time goes by. And today I stand here interviewing with you, Sarah.
Yes. In good vibrations. But I have to turn back a little bit. My son is a year older than you. And my son went down a dark road. And there was a while there that I just couldn't be around him. And I said, look, I love you to bits. And that will never change. But I cannot endorse the path that you're on right now. I can't be around you while you're on that path because everything in me, it's tearing me apart to see you go down that road. And for a while there, we just didn't really have any interaction. And then apparently one day he was at a crossroads and he knew that if he carried on down that path, would he be alive much longer? And he said it was my love for him. Now, I wasn't around him at that time. My love for him that he didn't want to, I always tear up when I say this, that it stopped him and said, no, I can't do this to her. I can't do this. She believes in me. She loves me. I can't do this to her. And he changed direction. Today he
Wow.
has his own restaurant. He is a person that's discovered clarity. He's on his journey of that exploration. And he's a person who's a pillar of his community. But there was nothing I could do at that time other than, like your mom, pray. I couldn't intervene. I have very strong-willed children. They don't fall too far from the tree. Yeah. And it was their self-discovery to make. All I could do was white light them. Please show them a different path. And everybody comes to that crossroads when you say, looking at your future, is it that path or is it that path? And I don't care whether you're young or old, there's many, many people that crossroads only happens later in life. They haven't done anything wrong, but they got the perfect job, they married, they have the 2.2 kids, they're in a job they hate, they're in a marriage they're not really committed to, they're not really connected to their children. And then one day the cosmic 2x4 comes along and says, it's time for change.
Wow. Wow.
Right? And so you had that epiphany young in life. My son has had it young in life. And that is beautiful because now you're not going to waste time.
Yeah. Sometimes I say to myself, if had I only had that epiphany 4 years earlier, I would have been a graduate of an Ivy League school, like just four
But would
years
you have
prior.
appreciated it in the same way?
I don't know.
No,
That's
you see, you're a graduate of life experience. Not everything has to have a diploma at the end of it, right?
yeah,
You have a diploma of life experience, which you are putting. I have a word every year. My word this year is actionism. You're putting your experience into actionism, right? What do you go to school for? Gain skills and tools, come out with a piece of paper and hope to get a job that you can put into actionism. Right, your diploma is the actual the book and the actual exuberance of living life. You're
yeah,
in actionism.
yes, yes, yes. I am,
You
and
had
thank.
to go through that experience to understand the value of life.
That is so true. And when you shared about your son, I was tearing up.
I always tear up at that.
Because the reality, Sarah, is if it wasn't for your love,
Hmm.
you are the image, the only image of God, right? They say God is love.
Hmm.
You were the only image of God and hope to your son
Yes,
because of that love.
yes,
And if you haven't given him that love, where else would he have that option? I mean, he had to come to memory. I
yes,
cannot do this to my mom. I cannot I cannot give mom this.
yeah,
She gave love. I gotta give her something better than
yeah,
this. And that was the wake up moment for him.
yeah.
And just I'm so grateful that you do what you do because there's obviously love all over you, and never bet against love. It always, like, it brings the
It
best
it's
reward.
the only commerce in the world that is worth anything for, I mean, if you are filled with love, you're the richest person in the universe. Right,
So
it's as corny as it is, and all the beautiful songs of love. When we step into love, we're literally stepping into a higher hertz, a higher frequency, higher vibrations. And in that state of love, you cannot knowingly harm anyone else. It's against the entire chemistry of love.
yeah, yeah. That's the power of love
It
right
is.
there in you, flowing through you, Sarah. This is amazing. Amazing.
But you've done that yourself, because you're a go-getter, clearly. You're an achiever, most certainly. But it is, right from the top. It's your mom. The way she prayed for you, the way she sacrificed for you. She brought you here to have a better life. At first it was, I'm being beaten up. What's better about this? But you chose to go through it. You went through the whole acceptance thing and thought, okay, this is great to be accepted, but do I want to be accepted in this way? Surely there's a better way. And you had your own epiphany. And that's the beauty of life. We are always going to have some wonderful epiphanies. It's being still enough to recognize them and what to do with them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Not la 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 la. Oh no, doom and gloom. There's nothing else for me out there. There is always something out there for you. It's up to
yeah.
you to discover it and walk it.
That is so true. That is true. I get to now take the example of love I saw in my mother
Yeah.
and now demonstrate it to my wife,
Mm-hmm.
to my children, all
Mm-hmm.
three of them.
Mm-hmm.
They range in age from as little as 3 to as old as 10, turning 11 in a few more days. My oldest,
Nice.
Sophia, and I love these kids more than I could ever, like, describe. There is
There's no
nothing I
words,
can
is
say
there?
for them.
There are no words in the vocabulary that can describe a love for a child.
Yes, yes. And wow, her husband better be like close to perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
That's always a girl's nightmare.
yeah.
What's dad going to think?
And then my two boys, my goodness, like wow, I know that they're gonna grow up loving their spouses the way they saw their dad
Mm,
demonstrate love to his wife
mm,
and to them and to their kids. love is so powerful. Wow. I don't know how we went from go back to your country or stay and defy all odds.
We're
Uh,
defying all the
well,
odds. Forget about
when the
going back to your
reality is,
country.
the reality is there is an amazing love story. I don't get asked about it enough
Mm,
when I'm doing interviews. There's a love story in here. Not only the love of a mother to her child, but how I met my wife from the
yeah.
moment she was my first girlfriend and only girlfriend, and finally wife and mother of my children, through an incredible love story that's woven into the text with all the other things that were transpiring.
Mm,
You know, when I proposed to my wife, I went to her older brother and to her father and mother. Mom and dad separate, but first I wanted to get the older brother, you know.
right. Yes.
I told him how I felt about his sister. He was so gentle about it, so kind and excited, that he almost like gave me permission. Go talk to mom and dad. You know, I talked to mom and dad and say, on her birthday, I want to be engaged to her. And they said, okay, that's great, no problem. We go out to dinner for her birthday. She has no idea what's coming. She knows it's her birthday, so she was expecting a celebration, but she
Right.
was expecting a proposal. The proposal came. She said yes. A few weeks later, I was hanging out with her parents, and they said, Issa, you're talking about this wedding, but not right now, not right now. You have to make at least 40,000 a year before you could, like, support yourself. What if you guys have a baby
Right.
and like, if you're not making $40,000 a year right now, you're not ready for marriage.
Hmm.
So you're engaged, but work towards getting married. In the sense, like, you can't get married in 9 months or in a year. Like, so they wanted me to make a certain amount of money, but they never stopped me from the engagement.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They're just
So,
looking out
okay,
for their daughter
so
and the
I just got
security.
the ring. And then, but that was my motivation
Mm,
to, like, I mean, I went to my boss and I said, I want to get married. To get married, I need to make $40,000 a year. I'm only making 20,000 a year. Like, how do I go from here to there? What can I sell? How can I grow? How can I become a personal banker? I just got my job as a teller and I became a service specialist. And now I'm like, I need to sell to go to the next position. What do I do? What do I have to study? And that drive, you see it in the book, in the second half of the book, of excelling from in my
mm.
profession, all had to do with trying to get married.
Right. Love
Finally,
propelled you.
when I got married, another epiphany took place. So now here I'm at the height of my career in banking at the time, and I lose my passion to go further in banking. And I'm trying to discover why. I'm this, like, walking, talking advertisement for this company. Like, they love everything about me. I love everything about this company. But it's that I had fulfilled my goal.
Right.
My goal was to get married,
Yes.
was to make my $40,000, which I made it and exceeded. So that's when my wife and I said, okay, well, what is our goal as a married couple?
Hmm.
Which then propelled me, again, clarity, discovery,
Yes.
propelled me to say, well, I want to open up a real estate firm. That's really what my new goal is as a husband, because now we're going to have children, and we want to build something for them that is meaningful. And I don't want to do the 9 to 5
Hmm.
salary thing. I discovered my capacity, and as a result, I want to put it into a business. And so we built a business, and the business led into more business and more. And now we figured out what we want. Our goal was uh, our children, and then it became about empowering uh, people outside of our family. Like, let's
Hmm.
go and give young people that were in the same place I was an
Hmm.
opportunity to get a profession that's going to help them get out of poverty, to
Yes.
live a better life, to break
Yes.
generational curses that
Hmm.
they've been carrying from their parents and great grandparents. And that's what we happen to do right now. 10
Yeah.
years have passed, 12 years have. We're going to be celebrating 12 years, my wife and I, this coming May. And it's a matter of it's that story of love that got us together and got us married.
Yes.
And then when we got married, we didn't just stop there and like lean back.
Right.
We did it. Let's just take whatever life gives us. It was all right. So what is next? Our children.
Yeah.
We're gonna have children at some point, and now we got three of them, and then it's about the community and other people, and I'm just
You went from I need to do this to forming a partnership of we are going to do this.
yeah,
And now, like, let's incorporate us in doing this,
yes, yes,
right?
yes,
And you
and
say
it's
again,
so
but
rewarding.
where's the foundation of all of that? It's all based in love. You can
Yeah,
achieve anything when there is a love foundation, a love generator,
yeah,
because
and
you want to share the love that you have out to other people in any way that they need it. And opportunity is a great way of sharing that love. Because as you said, it gets them out of poverty. It stops them going into that GAN. It gives them some self-esteem, self-approval,
yes,
the permission for self-discovery.
yes,
And that ability to be able to grow is not given to too many people. And when it's coming from that place of love, I want you to feel the love I'm feeling in my life. And here is the opportunity. You've got to walk the path. I'm
yes,
just giving you the back path and the map, and I'm there to support you.
yes, and that's what I do for a living.
Yeah,
I
isn't it
give
wonderful?
people the map in a real estate career, a real estate
Yes.
finance career. We have a real estate. I opened up a real estate licensing school because I just wanted to hurry
Mm.
and get people into a career.
Yes.
And it's I'm living the true American dream. I talk about it as the American dream because obviously I'm in the United States of America, but it's really uh, uh, my definition of the American dream really is the world dream, right?
Yes.
Is being able to live a meaningful life where every day is
Yeah.
full of wonder and surprises and challenges are just opportunities. It's a matter of perspective. Every challenge is could be seen either as a detriment or as an opportunity. And having that lens is like
Yeah.
wearing the perfect glasses,
Yes.
like you know
Clarity. Yeah. Yeah. Binoculars, you can see more clearly. But let's face it, when you look at each and every country, now Europe is steadfast and very long tradition, and there are a few immigrants, of course, lately in the last few years with Syria and everyone escaping, it's different now, refugees. But when you look at every country, I'm in Canada, you're in the States, New Zealand, Australia, these are countries that were made of immigrants. So when America is great, it is because of all the people that have come to that land to seek the opportunity to put their heart and soul into it, to make it great for them and share that greatness with others.
It's so true. I mean, the United States of America has been built by immigrants.
Yes.
When we look at like famous companies, like Fortune 500 companies, these companies have been founded by immigrants
Mm-hmm.
and their children. Like 45% of them, I should say, have been founded by immigrants and their children. You don't hear that type of
No,
talk or that type of truth revealed
no,
in media now because they want to make the immigrant look like the
the
one that's
villain.
crossing a border illegally,
Yes. Yes.
committing crime. But in reality, when you look at immigration as a global word, it's a very positive. I mean, think about it. Someone leaves behind
Yes.
everything they know. I mean,
Yes.
that act within itself
Yes.
is defying the odds. That act
Exactly.
within itself is courageous,
Yes.
right? To leave what you know, where your parents gave birth to you, where your neighbors, your school,
Mm-hmm.
like your sense of safety, to then go somewhere to do something better, to grow. That alone, just the movement, the migration of people, is an act of faith within itself.
It
And
is.
sometimes they could get lost in all the drama that's perpetuated on media.
Yeah, and we're seeing, I mean, here in Canada, we're seeing a lot. We have a huge Asian population. And the brutality of the Asian population at the present moment is absolutely disgusting. And it's all to do with, the virus.
Yes.
And, of course, you know, um, if you're from Jordan or any of the Arab countries, in Bin Laden. So everybody likes to put a little title along with you. It's you. Okay, now would you put your hysteria away? Would you, put a blindfold on right now? Listen to this person and tell me, how different is he from you? How different is she from you? Are
Yeah.
we not all looking for the same thing in life? To embed our life, to find a meaningful purpose, to step into love, to share that love with community. Does it really matter what the vehicle is that we're in, the skin that we're in? Isn't it about the heart soul?
Yes. Yes.
Should we not look deeper? Yes, we should.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have no right to judge.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's why I wrote this book, because
Mhm.
we've been misjudged. We've been
Yes,
categorized. It,
yes,
and you need, I'm hoping that this book is just joins it, this book just joins the immigrant, the real loving, powerful immigrant narrative that's happening that no one is
yes,
talking about.
right.
um, my hope is that it would give light to it, that
Yes,
it would give a person the proper lens when they're seeing immigrants, that they're just humans and actually determined ones that want better things in life.
I'm probably more driven and productive because of that, right?
Yes.
They don't come and sit and on, and get social assistance. They come and they know that they've got to immerse themselves in and get a job and learn the language and find a community, and they've got to get going with this,
Yeah.
because this country isn't there to pamper them. It will give them a hand up, a leg up, but they've got to be willing to step up. And they come with that perspective and that attitude.
Yeah, I call immigrants having an edge, that I
Mm,
call the immigrant edge.
yes,
That immigrant edge is you've already just coming to another country gives you an edge. You
yes.
have a greater desire. You've discovered things along the way of coming
Hmm.
to the US. You've discovered how courageous you are. You discovered that the other side of something that seems impossible, the other side is good,
Yes,
that you're safe, that you'll
yes,
make it. So then you could approach every obstacle in that same lens. You'll work harder. That's why you'll notice a lot of immigrants, they show up early, they
yes,
work late. They're willing to stay the extra hours, go the extra mile, do the extra service, because they know what it's like in their journey to not have as much
yeah,
opportunity. So they
yeah.
they fully
Seize the
seize
day.
the day.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I have a restaurant friend who only employs immigrant people. He does it for two reasons. One, to give them a chance. They're integrating with public, they're learning the language more. But he said also because they are so much more reliable.
Mm,
Right?
yeah.
They're there. They don't want to get sent back, so they know that they've got to get there and prove themselves. If we think about it, there's a few countries, and North America is one of them, where there's a lot of pampering.
Yeah.
And we are all. It doesn't matter who we are, what the title is, what's in the bank, who your daddy is. We are all here to be participants, to contribute. And
Yes.
in our self discovery of what our instrument is that we're contributing, it isn't about you're owed or you're entitled. No, no. Nobody's, we're all entitled to be treated with respect, with love, but you've also got to treat other people the same way. What you put out is what you're going to get back, right? So it is about our participation. And if you want a better world, then be a better person and contribute in a better way.
I agree. You couldn't said it any better than that. It's you reap and you sow,
Hmm.
and I should say you reap what you sow,
Yeah.
and you keep sowing kindness. You keep sowing
Yes.
love. You
Ah, what a
sowing
beautiful blanket.
these beautiful
Lovely flowers.
and that's what you get in life. and
Yes.
and sometimes it takes a little longer to see the harvest.
Mm,
The harvest is coming. You just have to keep sowing and keep sowing, and the harvest. And when the harvest comes, it's overwhelming. And can you wait long enough for the harvest?
Right. The patience and persistence is, the two P's that need to be there, and perseverance, three. You know about the bamboo shoot. You plant the seeds of a bamboo, and I have this wonderful picture of showing kind of um, just a carrot head, just a little leaf showing out, and then somebody else with big leaves and of a carrot. Mine's bigger than yours. And then underneath the earth is a tiny carrot with the big leaf, and there's a big carrot with the tiny leaf, right? We don't know what's growing underneath. And with bamboo shoots, they can take up to 5 years to grow. And for the first so many years, you don't see a thing, but you still got to water and nurture it. But when it grows, it can go 200 feet in a matter of weeks. So it is about, oh, I haven't had any success yet. Oh, well, where's my ship? It hasn't come in. Patience, persistence, one foot in front of the other. Be the plodder. Keep seeding, keep sowing, because one day you're going to see that beautiful forest rise up, right? But don't give up.
But don't
Pivot
give up.
sometimes,
And
but don't give up.
really, the secret is in really not giving up, because sometimes, and you see images of this, sometimes you're this close, like you're in a cave, you're breaking all the rocks to try to
Yes,
get to the gold,
yes,
and you just give up inches away, just inches away from your breakthrough. And really, that's when things get hard and you feel like giving up, that's when you put more action.
yeah,
That's when you go harder.
yeah,
That's when you use the frustration to fuel you to keep going. And
yes.
you'll realize that by the time you look up that you're in a different place, you're in a much more comfortable place.
And other
That's
people want to be a part of that place. We are all energy. Every single thing we touch is energy. Every particle, every word we say, every color, every water, everything we eat, all has energy. The energy in which gratitude has an energy. When with the reason why do people say prayers before they eat? Yes, thank you to God, but it's also gratitude for the food that is there. It's giving it energy. Now that food's energy will fortify you, right? So it is the same thing of that energy. Feed the right energy and watch it grow. It's not meant to be contained and boxed or just plugged in. It is meant to grow out in resonance in like a symphony and just reach as many people as it can.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And you are so full of positive energy. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm having such a great time having a conversation with you around this.
Your age group, I have three kids in that. I have 32, 36, and 38. And it's my 32-year-old that any second now is going to make me a grandma. They've all had their struggles. They've all had their journeys. My 32-year-old 4 years ago went back to school because she finally decided what she wanted to do. My 38-year-old is a wanderer, a traveler. I don't know how many countries she's been to around the world. And the way she shares the photographs and the stories and the everything else. And she's that butterfly that everybody wants around them because she's just that kind of exuberant energy. It is not for us to dictate what our children should be. We are custodians of our children. It is for us to water and nurture and put in their backpack skills and knowledge they need to know along the way. But living your life through your children is allowing them to live their life, right?
Yeah.
Not imposing your life upon them.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. My mom says that all the time, you know, because she knew what it's like for her husband to be chosen for her.
Yeah,
She wanted to make sure she doesn't meddle in the affairs of her children's love lives.
yes.
It's so true. It's so true.
So your mom left your dad to come to America
My mother left my dad.
with three
Very,
children
very tough process. And
in Jordan.
also,
Yes.
yeah, and one custody of her children, also tough for a woman to do in America.
Yes. My God. Yes.
And she remarried and brought us to the U.S. And wow, it wasn't easy at first, but now she gets to be grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Now she gets to be uh, happy
Yeah.
and see and actually enjoy the harvest she had planted nonstop for years.
She had a vision,
She sure did.
and she was willing to do whatever it took to fulfill that vision for the betterment of her children's lives.
Sarah, when you says that, what runs through my mind is a story that I tell, when she was in this desperate place to do anything,
Mhm.
anything to get us. She would take her passport, apply for a visa, get rejected, then she would go again, and then her friends would say, well, why don't you just rip up your passport and then just say you lost it, and then maybe they'll give you a new passport, and then when you get a new passport they don't see all the rejected
Mm.
stamps, and maybe they'll approve you. And after her second time doing that, she almost got arrested, because it's a big deal losing a passport. You
Any
could
country, yes.
get arrested for that. And she leaves the immigration, the embassy, the U.S. embassy, in tears,
Hmm.
in Jordan. And then she's approached by someone who tells her, well, if you're looking for a visa, I've seen you here all the time, coming and coming. If you're looking to get a visa and you keep getting rejected, we have a way. And then she listens. Okay, what do I have to do? And then it turns out to be some crazy scam that she got
Yeah.
herself involved in, where they want her to pay 11,000 dinars to then possibly get a visa, and it was like through like thugs and gangs.
Oh, yeah.
And she decided, oh my God, I just figured this out. This is not a legitimate service. She went to try to get her passport back, and she was met by men that caught her, and put her in a room and said, you wait here. And she was just like thinking, oh my God, they're gonna either rape me,
Mm-hmm.
kill me, no one will ever know where I am. And right there in her darkest hour, that desperation brought her to, she said, like, God, save me.
Hmm.
I don't know. I want my passport back. And then an
Sorry
hour
about the background, by
passes.
the way.
No, no, no
It's
worries.
from my daughter's baby shower. It comes up in
Oh,
every shower
good.
and it won't go away.
And look at that. The background pops up right in the middle of the story,
The
where boom,
rainbow of
the
hope.
rainbow shows up,
Yes.
and they give her passports back and say, we never want to see you again. And she comes back, and her desperation to do whatever it takes took her to all kinds of dangerous
Yes.
places.
Yes.
And she made it through them, and finally the right angle came through, and she found the love of her life, who became her symbol of hope, who then was able to bring her to the United States and bring her children with her. And so when you say, when you started talking, about whatever it is that we're
Mm.
willing to do, whatever, it reminds me so much of the qualities of my mother and what she went through. A young lady willing to do whatever to just get her kids out of this country and leave, because she's trapped into a family structure that
Yes.
limits them. And so she did it, and made it, and she reflects on all of this now. She
Mm.
gave me permission to write
Mm.
about
Good
her
for her.
journey, so my journey could make sense. We had to
Yeah.
tell her story.
Yes.
I honor her,
Good for you.
in this interview. I honor her, and I honor her with this book.
Mhm. Well, you
With,
wouldn't be you without her, quite honestly. Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, you're your own person, but from the seeds of her love and persistence and
Yes,
tenacity, it has made you up to find that courage and strength yourself to pursue.
yes, absolutely.
I just reminded of something. I watched the Meghan and Markle, Meghan and Harry, Oprah interview the other day. The leaving of the royal family, the persecution that she went through. And I went to bed after seeing it, and I can't sleep. I got up and I just wrote an article. And it's, I know that, first and foremost, I know there's going to be the haters that are going to come out there. And, all that hate is a reflection on them, on the person hating, not on Harry and Michael. I commend their
Mm,
struggle, because they walked away from a quote, quote, cushy life. But the price that they were paying of this illusion
Mm,
was too much for their souls to bear. And they honored their hearts and their souls and their love for each other and said, we're not walking away from service. We're going to continue to go and do service, but we're going to do it in honor and authenticity of who we are, not the puppet strings.
mm,
All right. So, he's a person of privilege, has been all his life. She's worked since very young. She's mixed race. She's gone through her own shoot, right? We think that people in high profile don't have the struggle. What is that? How many people through this COVID year have we seen? And this is one of the things I love is that all the talk shows have had to go to Zoom.
yeah.
So you're seeing people in their own environment, no makeup and hair, being honest, and the conversations have been so deep and being so honest. And what it's done is say, let's take the facade off, the glitter and the glam, and let's look at the person and love them, not only for what they do, but for who they are,
Yes.
not the illusion of who they are. And I think the illusion, whether it's, you've got a big nose and you're from Jordan, you must be, or whether it's white privilege and you must be. The whole thing is, let's take the illusion away and let's get down to conversation
Yes.
with
Yeah.
love.
So true. So true. And I watched the interview,
Mm-hmm.
and my family and I, we got together, we put it on. Um, I didn't watch it live. I watched the recorded
Yeah.
version a few hours after, or it could have been the few hours later, and and fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
fascinating, leaving behind like
Yes,
this place everyone dreams of,
exactly. Yes, the
and
fairy
just
tale
so that
prince in the palace. Yeah.
in the name of authentic love,
Yes.
and so powerful, so
Isn't
powerful.
that an inspiration? I would say inspiration
Absolutely.
begets invitation. It's an invitation for other people out there that no matter who turns against you, there are more people with you.
Yes.
And what do we tell people? Please don't try and live up to somebody else's expectations. The greatest gift you were ever given was your heart, soul, and spirit. Light it up,
Yes.
share it with others, because that is the greatest gift you'll ever have.
That is so true.
So
That
your
is,
book is that inspiration. Your story is that inspiration to a young immigrant, to a young person, or anybody facing diversity, even the families that have been here for a while that are still living traditionally,
mm,
right? It is about if you want it enough, you're going to find avenues to get it. Even if you go down the wrong path, and it feels all good, but that the conscience says nagging and going, all very well, mate, all very well, mate, but this is the path you're meant to be on? I don't think so. Okay, I need to change. And the willing to do the tap dance of life, because we're always going to be pivoted to the left or the right. There is no straight linear path. It isn't about the destination. Life is about the journey.
journey. Yes.
And
Yes.
you're living it. You're an example of it. Your book is an example of it.
Wow. Wow. You just took a quote right out of my book. My closing line of chapter one says, native or foreign, I want to remind you that your power is seldomly found at your destination.
Mhm.
Rather, it's built during your journey. When you said that, it brought me to my closing line of chapter one, which
Amen.
sets up the rest of my book. And the journey is where everything is.
Isn't it exciting?
It
Isn't
is.
it
It
isn't it
is. It
exciting to
is.
have this feeling of exploration and wonderment of what will tomorrow bring?
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't that open up to possibilities?
It's endless possibilities,
Yeah,
endless possibilities, and you are proof of that. I am proof of that.
exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. I mean, it took me when I came to Canada. I came from South Africa. As a Brit, I went to South Africa with my mum and I left South Africa. Most exquisite country, but the apartheid got to me and the male chauvinism. I just couldn't stay there anymore because I couldn't fight for the apartheid and the male chauvinism. I was just not going to be demeaned anymore. And I came to Canada because I had friends here. And I came in on a year visa. And when it came to me applying for my immigration, I went to the immigration desk with my papers. I was being sponsored by my boyfriend. I'm talking to a British guy that had gone to South Africa, that had come to Canada. We're getting on like house on fire. And he said, and is your boyfriend here? And I said, yes, he is. Call him over. He came over, and my boyfriend, who then became my husband, no longer together, but my husband, who's Chinese. The guy looked at him, stamped my passport. You've got 10 days to get out.
Wow.
And it took me, I went out, somebody helped me get back in on a work visa. And every time I applied for permanent residency, I was told that they deliberately lost my papers because I still had permanent resident of South Africa in there. I
Wow.
went back to England with two of my children, and there was a chance of whether I get back in or not. I happened to know one of the consulates of the Canadian things through his daughter, and he said, we're going to change your passport. We're going to apply in a totally different way. And it took a few weeks, and I came back, and I was finally an immigrant. I'm a white British woman, and I had difficulty 5 years before I could get my papers. Prejudice is everywhere. Judgment is everywhere. Assumption is everywhere, right?
Everywhere. It's so true. You know, I had somebody read my book, uh, American, All American Girl. She's my mother's age, actually.
Mhm.
Her ancestors came to America in the 1600s, like
Mm,
super American.
yes,
And then
founders.
she read my book, and she read the story of the 12-year-old boy getting jumped. She
Mm,
she came to me and told me about how empowered her, it excited her. The book was, she was telling me all these great things about this book, but she said, but I hope it wasn't my people that did this to you.
yeah,
I feel bad. And I said, nowhere in my book did I disclose the race or ethnicity
right.
of the group of kids that
Mm,
jumped me. Why do you carry this guilt
yes,
that, like, if someone was mistreated, that it was your people,
right.
you know? Please liberate yourself from that.
Yes.
Please.
And
It's
your
it's
people, my people, aren't we all
we're
people?
exactly.
Yeah, we're a human race.
And now, like, there's this sense that if you're white, right,
Yes.
that you have to apologize for
Yeah,
something
yes.
you do.
Yes, I
When
know.
you're the
I
nicest
know
person
that that
on
is
earth.
the latest trend. Oh, I'm sorry for being white.
So in
Yes.
a way, she was
Yes.
apologizing for
Yes.
things that maybe didn't even happen by. I didn't even. I don't even describe the ethnicity of my boss, who was mean.
Yep.
But some people
It's
cling to
not
the
about the
responsibility that's
race of the person, it's about the character of the person.
exactly, exactly,
If that
exactly.
if that character chooses to mean, belittle, or attack another person, it is their own insecurity and fear that is within them. It's not the person they're attacking. And it doesn't matter what color they are, where they're from. Every color has insecurities.
Yes, yes. And the reality is, every color, every race, every
Yes.
country, every
Yes.
every heritage you come from
Yes.
has its good and bad, but you are
Exactly.
not responsible for any of the bad.
No, you're only responsible for yourself and your
Yeah.
own actions, your own character, your own heart and soul, right?
Yes.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
complete, and we need to get over that.
Yes,
No, we
quickly.
really, yes.
Quickly,
let's
because
let's
it's
press the
the
speed button
same.
forward. Get over it, please. Yeah.
Yeah, it's disheartening, that
Yeah.
you have to walk with your head down because of a great grandfather
Yeah.
that you think may have mistreated people. It's not right.
No.
It's not right. You're responsible for your actions.
Your own
You're not
choices.
responsible for
Exactly.
anyone else.
And you also, we all make mistakes. Nobody is holier than thou. We can't turn around and point a finger at someone when they make a mistake, because first look in the mirror. We've all made them. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons.
Yes.
The failure is when you do not learn that lesson.
Yep.
And you will repeat it until you do.
Yes.
I have done things that I wish I hadn't done, things that I'd said I wish I hadn't said, thoughts I wish I hadn't thought, but they have made me up to who I am and made me more conscious and aware now today. I have learned from those mistakes. So even if we say something to someone and it might be perceived as the wrong thing to say, instead of coming down with them on a hatchet with a hatchet, just
Mm.
say, just like to point out that that might be perceived as being a negative. It's not to condemn or belittle the other person. It's just to let them know that instead in that way, it might. And you don't want the person to start feeling, oh, I'm so sorry you're in that. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware. I would change my verbiage, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
we want to persecute people all the time. Can we take persecution out of the vocabulary and action altogether?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And use words of kindness to confront,
Yes,
bad things or bad choices.
yes.
Um, we have so much to learn as a human race.
We're slow to learn. But, the energies, the whole thing about COVID, and this is not, again, as I say in every show, this is not to belittle the losses. There have been far too many losses, not just the people that have died, but the families that have been left devastated, people who have lost their businesses, and a lot of loss in itself. But I like the Celtic room Haglas, which is disruption. You have to have disruption before you can have clarity. We spring clean in order to have order. We are going through that spring cleaning, that disruption right now. We don't want to go back to normal. The normal was dysfunctional. We
Mm.
have this year and what is still to come has been a lesson in compassion. Who we used to revere those pedestal CEOs up at the top there in their ivory towers. Who do we revere now? Our nurses, our doctors, our janitors, our truck drivers, our grocery workers, the
Yes.
people that kept us alive and kept us going. They're the heroes. They're the everyday people that without them, where would we be? So we need to put things in perspective and celebrate every single person, not just those that are up in glitter.
Agreed. I agree. It's so true. It is so true. COVID has, without belittling anything, I mean, it's been devastating
Yes.
in so many ways, but yet at the same time, it's been eye-opening. It has been an awakening
Yes.
to the
Liberation.
soul. Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
And an
and look how
invitation too,
fathers.
right?
Yes, and but
Yes.
think about like how many fathers and mothers like actually started to pay attention to their children, like
Yeah.
and
Appreciate the
have
teachers a great deal
family
more.
time. Have family time and like put puzzles. I mean,
Yes.
this season we built so many puzzles that I haven't had the chance to put a puzzle together in a while. And COVID, I'm in puzzles now with my
Yeah.
kids. We're doing the 50 piece puzzle all the way to the 1500 piece
Yes.
puzzle. Uh, and COVID brought us in that space. And in a way, that's how you could find gratitude even in the midst of painful circumstances.
Exactly. I hate the word competitive, and criticism and and any of the words that suggest that you walk over other people to get what you want. Um, it is about the empowerment. It's about empowering others. Collaboration, I'm a huge one on cohesiveness, compassion, creativity, caringness. We really can feed these words and use these words. And when you see the reaction from other people, when you just turn around and say,
Yeah.
thank you for
Or,
being you.
or acknowledging that they
Yes,
exist.
yes,
Like, how are
yes.
you? Like,
Right. I see you.
yes,
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
you. We've gone around for too long, on the phones and ignoring everybody, being so self centered. Now, you need to be selfish to go in and live from an inside out life, but it is for you to then become generous with yourself.
yes,
And
yes.
a little hello and a smile and how is your day goes an awful long way.
So true. I remember the saying. I would hear it a lot and I would share it a lot. Uh, because you had mentioned that competition and stepping over other people
Yeah.
to get to what you want. it resonates with the saying that if you could help other people achieve their dreams, or the more you help other
Mm.
people achieve their dreams, the closer you're going to find yourself achieving your dream. So you could get to the top.
Yes.
Whatever your top is, you could get there, but you have to choose which tools you want to use. You want to use tools of competition and tarnishing and
Yes.
criticizing others so that you could look better,
And
or
abuse. Yeah.
an abuse, right? Or do you want to use the build tools to build people, help them get along
Yes.
further, push them to their next level? And the more you do that, you could get even to heights you can't get to with the other tools. And
Yeah.
I'm so big on that because in real estate, we help people find their dream homes
Yeah.
or sell a home, find their dream home. And but yet, perhaps our dreams haven't been fulfilled yet. And I tell people, if you just keep helping people, doesn't matter, just keep helping them,
Mm.
things will get better. And your own dreams, you're going to realize them. And it's such a different it's just different view on getting to the top.
Yeah. We don't even know what our dreams are until we're willing to explore. Right? It's like it's not about you need a dream and a plan and everything, I'm going to do this by this and that by that. No, let that throw that out. Just be willing to explore. And I'm if you are just looking to go up, well, a tower can waver and crumble and fall. Right? You're reliant on the people in the foundation to keep it strong. And you're so detached from what's going on, right? So how can you have a cohesiveness there? But if instead you're locking arms with each other and creating a circle where I empower you, you empower them, they empower them, look at how empowered that circle is and everything that is in the center of it.
Yeah, so true.
That's what you're doing with the real estate, with the helping people get their thing. You're empowering them, you're teaching them, you're giving them that tool and that skill to go and explore their own liberation. And at the same time, my ex-husband is in real estate, has been now for 30 something years. Um, it, when somebody moves into that home, and it's not a house anymore, they didn't buy a house, they bought a home. And their furniture's in there. My daughter, literally, last week I was over there. My son was making food for her, for the oncoming baby, and we were helping move furniture into her. I passed down the dining room suite that's been in my family for generations. It's 120 years old. It's now in a new home. They built this home. And they literally moved into it on the Thursday. We were there on the Monday. This baby's coming any moment now. They haven't got any
Wow.
doors on the inside, but it's their home. It's
Yeah.
not a house. They didn't build a house. They built a home. And when you buy a home, it's your sanctuary. It's your haven. It's your palace that you're going to, bring up your little prince and princesses. So, yeah, people think real estate is just about good commission and this and that. No, you are matching a family or people to a place that becomes their sanctuary.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so rewarding.
Mm,
It's so rewarding. And
yeah.
and you're right, beyond the commission, beyond
Mm,
the economic part of it, it's so rewarding. You're helping people get to their dreams.
yes.
And you help them get to their dreams enough, you'll get to your dreams.
That that smile that you get in your stomach. You know what I'm talking about? That gut smile that you get when somebody, you hand them the keys. It's yours. It's
Yes, yes.
yours.
After going through like a brutal process of obtaining financing
Yes.
and meeting all the criteria of underwriting, and
Yeah.
I know that world too well. And at the end, you get that feeling of we did it,
Yeah.
we did it.
It's ours. It's
Yes,
ours to do with. Yeah. It's sharing the love, right?
yes,
It's sharing
yes.
the love. I mean, that's everything. It doesn't matter what you do or who you are and how you do it. It's about sharing the love.
So
Share your heart and soul, and nothing will go wrong.
yeah, yeah, and people are drawn to that, and they
Yeah.
can see that, and then they'll refer their friends and their family, and
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and that's
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 the
how.
best form of compliment, right? Is the sharing.
Yes,
right?
yes.
The sharing, that referring, when you refer someone, it's, I will always go to somebody who can refer someone rather than just going through the yellow pages, because anybody can put in a tinselled ad.
Yeah.
But when you're referred, then you're getting somebody of like energy, right? Yeah. And the or stay and defy the odds. Well, you've definitely defied the odds. You've not only that, you've thrived the odds, and you're sharing that thriving forward. So many people, go back to your country, and they say it to like the Indian nation, the native Indian nation. Hello, you know, they were here first. Um, that embitterment, as I said, is ignorance, it's arrogance, and it's fear. And you can either educate or you can walk away. Please don't take it personally, right? Please don't take it personally. Understand that their fear is based out of that ignorance. It's not a reflection on you personally.
So, so true. At the end of my book, I wrote a letter to my 12-year-old self. And, as you're saying this about ignorance and don't take it personal, I talked to this 12-year-old boy who was, at the time he was bullied,
Yeah.
and I say something that I'd like to pull up if you give me a second.
Yeah.
In that letter, I talked to him about that. Uh, and I'm going to yeah, there it is. Lastly, when people hurt you, forgive them. If they hurt you again, forgive them more. I've seen what you've been through. Don't take rejection personally. It's usually done out of ignorance instead of truth. Now watch this. If people knew where you've been and where you're going, their perspective would change.
Yeah. Give
And
each other the time of day.
yes, yes. So what you just said, I mean, it came right out of my book. I mean,
This is a
you're
book that
so
everyone, and it
aligned.
doesn't.
We are so aligned. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
exactly, exactly. The beauty of it, of your book, it's not talking to any Pacifics. It's not talking to the immigrant specifically. It's not necessarily just talking to the people who are around immigrants who don't know what to do. It's talking to everyone. There's a life lesson in there. And there will be, when people read a particular chapter or a saying or something, that will resonate. And what
Yeah,
you want people to pause and reflect. Is
yes,
this me? Do I feel like that? I didn't understand that. Now I know better. And that's what it's about, folks. It's about always educating ourselves. And because when we know better, we do better. And when you hear somebody else's story, that struggle, what they went through, it isn't for you to say, oh, I'm so sorry you went through that, and forget it. It's about being conscious of others that are going through it and what can you do to help them.
so true. Wow. I hope the book does exactly that, and we're doing everything in our power to spread the word, to spread the message. Having me on your show, you're helping me achieve my dream. You're helping me get this work in front of your audience, and that's such a blessing. And I know in doing that, more of your dreams will come to a reality.
The energy begets energy and it constantly grows,
It sure
right?
does.
We're all in the flow. So, how do people get hold of the book? How do they get hold of you? Where do they follow you? Tell us, please.
Sure.
And if also they want to be a part of your real estate,
Oh,
share it
sure.
all.
So this is the part where I get to tell you a little more about how to get everything I do now at this stage of my life. So go back to yourcountry.com, right? Very easy. Go back to
Mhm.
yourcountry.com is where you could get not only purchase my book, but see reactions, endorsements, videos about the book. You could also get more details, some exclusive information, more photographs that didn't make it to the book are on the website, and you could reach me there too. You could reach me. And today I am in an incredible position to help people. I mean, uh, I am in the real estate brokerage business. I am in the real estate education business. I am in the real estate development business, and I am in the real estate finance business. So if you need any of that, if you have a dream of getting a mortgage or getting a property, I could plug you in somehow
Yeah.
in my world and help you. If you're looking for a career in the state of New Jersey, I could help you.
Mm,
If you just want to have someone that you could chat with and follow
mm.
and follow on Instagram or Facebook and just have someone who shares positive posts, and it's not all a news feed that reflects what's happening in the world,
Yes.
newspapers, but a news feed that reflects all the positive things that go on day after day. You would want to follow me. I'm easy to find. Issa Musharbash. That's
Can you
my
spell
first and
that name
last
for the
name.
people listening, please?
Sure. Yeah. So, in fact, as I spell it, I'm going to also put it on the screen.
Right.
So it's Issa for the first name, and then Musharbash is Musharbash. Musharbash. This is the challenge of being an immigrant.
Yes.
we don't get the easiest names. First and last name, Issa Musharbash. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. You could Google my name. Google has a knowledge panel associated with my name at this point because now I'm an author. Woohoo!
Right. Yes.
The algorithms,
Yes.
give me a knowledge panel. So you could read about me as soon as you type my name on Google. And I'm here to serve, Sarah.
Mm.
I just want to serve at the highest level possible. I want to serve any of your listeners that just want to anything. I'm here and I'm at your service.
To be, for a long time I was a servant in that the expectations of me of what to give made me feel like a servant, almost a slave, rather than somebody being of service. When you are actually in service of choice and it comes from your heart, soul, and spirit, that is one of the most beautiful things that you can be in, because anytime that you can help somebody in some way, shift their life, lighten up their day, do anything that is positive, it becomes another beautiful light within you. So it is about being of service. But first and foremost, serve yourself, because you need to be abundant so your cup can run over.
Yes, so true. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. This has been an absolute delight, most certainly. And we need more of you out there. So, keep sharing yourself. You can clone yourself if you like. That I won't object to that. And, it's the more we share that light, the more we share that positive energy, the more we sing that dance, the more it resonates and filtrates into other people who gave up. Right. And it's not about giving up. You can pause, you can feel sorry for yourself a moment, take a breath, but then get back up, because
Yes.
there's so much more to walk towards. Do not think this is it. And why should I move forward? This is just a bad space you're in right now. That 12-year-old was in a bad space. He thought about going back to Jordan at 18. The gang saved him from doing that because it gave him validation, until he realized, the wrong validation. I need to go elsewhere to truly honor my mother's journey, my mother's faith in me. And look where you are now, right? You're sharing it forward. And that is what we're all here to do, share it forward. So thank you for sharing it.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me that opportunity, Sarah. I really appreciate being on your show today.
I really appreciated you being on my show. It's been an absolute delight. Remember, folks, we are the love, we are the light, we are the solution to every problem. We've just got to be willing to get there. Go back to your country. That could be said to so many people. I prefer the other part. Find your resilience. Make something out of it. We all have struggles, but those struggles define who we are, why we are, and what we can do. And boy, are we awesome in our flawsomeness. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. You will hear many shows here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. We have new shows for you out every week. Just find them on our podcast or What's New. If you feel that you have something to share that makes a difference in the lives of others, or you too feel that you could be a host, please contact me at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com and we will be glad to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.